Block to Acosta, kick it down to the left corner, 3 on the way, Rainbow J in and out, almost staying the cylinder, no good for Lehman. Rebound on the left block, pulled down and put back door to Mackey for the layup. Mackey gets his second bucket of the game after a rebound by Brian Acosta. It's 10-6, Eagles by 4. 2:50 left here in the first quarter. In the front court, coming across is Wilson. In front of the Taskovich band, sliding from left to right to the left wing. Shot from the back of the arc, no good. Comes off the iron. Rebound left corner by Pacini. His first shot coming off the back of the rim. Gets his own rebound. Drives the hoop on the reverse slam underneath the hoop, left to right, and is knocked to the floor. Ball sails over the rim, but he'll get a couple of free throws here. The foul on the Eagles. And again, the Hobbs with their biggest lead of the game by 4 here in the first quarter, 10-6. And we'll see if we're going to get that foul call. It was a push in the back that time. That will be against the Eagles, I should say. That's Argott's second already, and the second team foul.
3 opportunities, 3 offensive rebounds for these Trojans as Knights, Trojans tomorrow. But Knights get 3 different chances to get it, and now they have some chances on the free throw line.
First one no good for Pacini. He'll get one more. He's trying to get his first point of the ball game. Again, 10-6 your score. Second shot's a swish. Right through the cylinder that time, so he gets his first point. Gonzalez was 6, 1 for Pacini. He's now 10-7 for the Eagles leading. Mackey 4, 3 for Lehman, 2 for Argott, and 1 for Vega. Inbound for the Eagles. In the backcourt with the basketball is Pena. Hands it off to Mackey. Mackey's going to go one-on-one. Throws it across the timeline, right wing for Pena for 3. A fadeaway out the back of the iron, no good. In the middle of the paint for the rebound is Julian Gonzalez for the Knights. Throws it across the timeline, right corner. 1-2 step for Bynum, and thought they're going to get the travel. They're going to say a push by the Eagles, causing the travel, I guess. Called against Ethan Van Landingham, and by the way, it's his first game of the season. He had that broken collarbone in the football season, that last game at Watson Stadium, but is back now after a few weeks off.
And he was expected to miss the whole season, so it's good to see him back. Hopefully he won't injure himself again anytime soon.
I know his mom has been posting on Facebook, kind of count down the days to try to get him in a Hobbs Eagle uniform. And I believe we're back on Facebook or YouTube, right, Ron?
Yes.
Yeah, we're on YouTube now and HobbsAmerica.com. Sorry for the delay on the TV side of it. In the paint, a fadeaway jumper for Oregon Mountain. Off the back of the rim, no good. Gonzalez couldn't get it to drop. Nice rip for Turriatas on the board near the free throw line. His first rebound. Throws it across the timeline to Van Landingham. Stop and go. Left baseline, spins. Kicks it back on the left wing to Acosta. Up top to reset to Pena. He'll take a few dribbles against the defensive Bynum. Top of the circle. Gives it left side to Acosta, backdoor to Mackey underneath the hoop, gets shoved, backward shot from the left block, and scores. He pumps up his bicep to his defender that time, Ethan Combs, and Mackey with 6 points to lead the Eagles. Hobbs, their biggest lead is 5, 12-7 here in the first. 1:30 left in the opening quarter. In the front court, Oregon Mountain with the left wing on the pass to Coombs, cross court right to Del Ferraro. Finds his man in the right corner. That's Bynum. Bynum with a 15-footer. Swishes it through the net from the baseline right. Bynum with his first bucket. They've had 3 scores so far. The Eagles with 4. Hobbs by 3, 12-9. 1:05 left here in the first. Stop and go for Van Landingham. He's getting bodied hard on the near sideline and gets pushed in the back as he got by Gonzalez. Boy, he was getting kind of chested up before that, but he got by him, and then Gonzalez didn't like it.
I know, but, looking at Van Landingham, he doesn't look like he's been injured at all. Looks like he's been playing the whole time, and that's what you want to see, somebody who can come in and just play right off from the start.
1:04 left first quarter. Eagles up by 3, 12-9. They were down early in this contest, but have come back to take the lead. Inbound to the backcourt to Mackey. Gets some tough pressure as he spins against Coombs. Stop and go. Unloads to the right wing. Jab step for Pena. Spins and comes up top, backs it out to the timeline, near side. He's going to spot an 18-footer just inside the three-point line, high off the back of the rim, loose at the free throw line, and a nice dive on the floor to get the board for Oregon Mountain. That was Julian Gonzalez, his second. Boy, I keep fumbling on that Oregon Mountain Oñate stuff. It's been ringing in my head this whole ball game. Over to the left wing to Coombs. Cross court right to Del Ferraro. To the right corner. 3 on the way for Bynum. In and out, no good. Pulled down on the right block by Gonzalez. Spin move with a lefty hook. An air ball. Van Landingham gets it for the Eagles on the left block. His first rebound. Sends it ahead to a wide open layup man. Brian Acosta for his first bucket. Nice assist for Van Landingham. First time in a Hobbs Eagle uniform this season. 14-9, matching their biggest lead at 5. 10 seconds left in the quarter. Ball comes across the timeline to Coombs, left wing. One-hand bounce pass up top to Bynum. Comes and spins to the near side. Tries to get it back to Gonzalez. It's loose at the timeline. Van Lattingham with .3 could not get through 2 defenders. And that will end the first quarter of action after the 5th Organ Mountain turnover. At the end of 1, your Hobbs Eagles leading 14-9 over Organ Mountain here at Task Arena. We'll be back in 60 seconds on HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and on the radio, Cool 95.7. We're back live here at Tasker Arena, Hobbs Eagle basketball, as the Eagles lead Organ Mountain 14-9. You're listening live to HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and on the radio, Cool 95.7. Ron Gunner, Ty Friend, and Tiffany Stuber back at the station. Points in the first quarter. Brian Gonzalez leading Organ Mountain with 6, 2 for Bynum and 1 for Pacini. And for your Hobbs Eagles, 6 for Mackey, 3 for Lehman off a tray, a bucket apiece for Acosta and Argot, and a single free throw for Braylon Vega in the first quarter of action. Eagles top rebounder, nobody really in the lead right now. They've got 6 different players with rebounds, 1 each. And for Organ Mountain, it's Gonzalez and Karras, both with 3 apiece. Again, these 2 teams did play last year, and Eagles winning big, 78-54. That was in Las Cruces against Organ Mountain. Hobbs outscored Organ Mountain 25-11 to get that win on the road over this Organ Mountain team. By the way, they will be playing them the first round of the Hobbs Holiday Tournament coming up few days after Christmas. Organ Mountain going to start the basketball second quarter action, and we've got a 5-second call already against Organ Mountain. They've already got 6 turnovers, double what the Hobbs Eagles got right now, Ron.
I know, and that's one of the reasons why Hobbs is in the lead, simply because they're controlling the ball and not turning it over.
Their top scorer, again, we mentioned Brian Gonzalez. He averages, or actually keeps saying Gonzalez, he's second. Karras has 16 points a game and also 8.5 rebounds to lead the team. And Gonzalez with 12.3 a contest. He's first on assists at 2.8. So they got some pretty potent offensive players so far. We'll kind of tell you a little bit about their schedule at this point with a 7-1 record here in just a minute. Mackey will come across the timeline, gives it up top to Lehman. Lehman returns to Mackey, who picks up a double team. They know he's the top scorer, 20-plus a game. Finds a Acosta top of the arc to the right corner to Devo Marquez. Drives baseline, throws up a layup, no good, but tipped back up and in by Turbiatis off the left glass with 2 hands. He's been injured a couple games and not play at the Artesia tournament. His first bucket, and it's 16-9. Hobbs at their biggest lead of the contest.
And that was a nice rebound, nice cleanup, and nice shot.
Top of the arc, jump stop for Bynum. Sends it down the left corner, 3 on the way. Is off the mark, no good for Wilson. Long rebound for the Eagles. That was Mackey's second. Sends it ahead to the right side of the court. We got a whistle at the right wing. And I'm going to see who's going to call the foul. Looks like somebody was pulling at one of the Eagles that time. And I believe they're going to charge that one to Yane Wilson. Yep, Wilson's second personal, 4th foul against the Knights. And it will be a shooting foul, as it was Marquez trying to make the 18-footer that time. He'll go to the line to shoot 2.
We're going to see if the 2 weeks off is going to help as far as their free throws. They've been struggling a little bit early in this season, but maybe they're getting better. First
one's up and good after the pep talk there, Ron. That was Marquez. And he was 0 for 3 before that shot, now 1 for 4 on the season. Hobbs came in at 60% from the charity stripe this season. And Organ Mountain at 74%, so about 14% differential. But this is a new game here. The second shot, though, off the front of the rim, no good. Rebound by Bynum for his first of the game. So Marquez went 1 for 2 at the stripe, and Hobbs up by 8, their biggest lead of the contest. Into the front court, pass down to the right corner to Pack. Pack returns. Crossover move for Coombs. Bounce pass left wing to Pacini. Tries the right side of the lane. Kicks it back up top And dribbling around, shot past the left wing, fadeaway three, and nailing it is Amarin Bynum for his first tray of the game, and for the Knights. Now 17-12 the score. Coming across the timeline, down to Debo Marquez left baseline. He tries to drive the hoop with a runner shot at the back of the rim. Long rebound at the timeline after batted by the Eagles. Pulling it down is Bynum, his second board. He dribbles up the far sideline, gets pushed. Had double team pressure that time by a couple of Hobbs Eagles. Caden Hall was out there as one of them. I think he's the one that gets the foul. No, they're going to call that again instead on, looks like Marquez, his first 14th foul on the Eagles. So both teams with 4 fouls, and now Coach Reed's going to bring in some subs here. Get a lot of fresh legs on the court. Van Landingham back out there. Turbiata still, as well as Pena, who just checked in, and Lehman. Hand off to Pacini, top of the circle. Stop and go to the right wing. Gives it off to the far right sideline. A spin move by Del Ferraro. Underhand pass. Now kick up top to Bynum. Drives the right side of the lane. Kick down right baseline to Coombs. Fade shot at the right base. He goes falling backwards in the middle of the paint. They say he got pushed down that time as they call the foul on the Eagles. Point blank range as they get the foul call against Vega, his first 15th foul.
Did you know that this series goes back to 1999, and Hobbs has the advantage 15-7 over them? They beat them 15 times.
Of course, that's back in the Onyate days, right?
Most of them, yeah, except for the last couple of years. You're right.
First free throw for Coombs, no good. 0 for 1 on the line now. As a team, Oregon Mountain is now 1 for 3 for 33%. One more opportunity now for Coombs, trying to get himself in the scorebook. He is a sophomore. Free throw up and swish for Coombs, his first point of the ball game. They've got 4 scores now for Oregon Mountain. And Hobbs already has 7 in the books. I think that's one thing we didn't see at the Artesia tournament, bench scoring. We had very few guys stepping up, a couple guys in double digits, but after that it dropped off dramatically.
Exactly. We had, if any, one game we didn't have anybody in double digits at all. But one of the things that Coach Reeves wanted to do is to spread the ball around, spread that wealth around, and get those shots in better. Of course, also get rebounds, too, to get those second chance shots. But, yes, I think right now what we're doing is we're pressing a little more. Because that showed some improvement over the Artesia tournament. And we're continuing to get better as far as getting more people involved, getting more shots in, and that's exactly why we got this 17-13 lead so far in this game.
Timeout on the court. We're going to keep it right here. We mentioned the 7-1 Oregon Mountain squad. Their only loss this season was Volcano Vista, who is in the top 5 in the state currently. They lost to them 80-63. But we should mention one thing about Oregon Mountain. Against Roswell, they beat 74-59. They were perfect on the line, 19 of 19 at the charity stripe. And the loss to Volcano Vista, they were 8 of 8 on the line. So you don't want to put them on too much, although they have missed already a few times in this game. Eagle basketball after the timeout at the free throw line. Shot from the left elbow by Pena. Off the back of the rim. Can't get it to drop. Underneath the hoop for the rebound. Pulling it down for Oregon Mountain was Mike Martinez, who had just checked in during the timeout. Dish down to Pescini in the right corner. Throws it down low. Fade on the right block for Karras. No good. Goes back up on the tip and puts it off the glass. His first bucket and 4th rebound. 17-15. Oregon Mountain climbing back in this one. Eagle ball across the timeline. In the hands of Lehman. Returns it back deep and then gets it back at the time stripe. He wants everybody to get lined up on the offense, and nobody's coming to help him. Pass off to the left wing to Vega. Vega with the triple threat. Slings it up top to Hall. Comes to the right side of the circle with a handoff coming to Lehman. Top of the circle, he'll back up to the timeline. One-hand bounce pass to Turbiatis, top of the arc. He pivots, hands it off to Pena. 18-footer on the run, off the back of the rim, no good. Chased down in the left corner for the Eagles by Lehman. Back door, and the reverse layup, left to right. Put it down off the glass, counted for Turbiatis. His second bucket of the second quarter, 4 points for him. Hobbs back up by 4, 19-15.
Nice, sweet shot right there. Got it in and had a nice touch, too.
In the front court once again, the man that likes the ball, Karras. He goes to the rack, double clutch, left side, no good. Gets his own rebound with the tip on the right. He's a workman underneath. Gets it to go down on the second shot. He's got 4 points and 5 rebounds now for the Knights. 19-17. Hobbs by the deuce. In the front court, stop and go dribble. Coming across his Pena to the right wing. Crossover move. Gets a screen from Hall. Goes baseline. They're going to say Hall was moving on the screen. They're going to call the foul on him. And so for that will be a first on Hall, the 16th foul. So Oregon Mountain just 1 away from the bonus. And Coach Reeves being pretty liberal on the subbing pattern so far, as some more legs back out on the court for the Eagles. Ethan Van Landingham returns for Pena. He'll take a seat. And also coming on for the first time tonight, Chris Archibuke. So I think you nailed it on the head earlier, Ron, that Coach is trying to get the wealth kind of moved around a little bit here and get people to perform. And he's had a bunch of injuries the last week or so, so that's another thing he's trying to get over the top of.
Exactly, and once you have that extra time, injuries can be healed, practice can be done.
It's going to be Oregon Mountain basketball coming across the timeline, driving down the lane. It's Pacini, reverse layup right. It's off the rim, no good, but trying to grab the rebound. We got a battle going on between the Eagles and the Knights. Omar Argot going toe-to-toe with Karras. I think Karras had the original rebound, but they might have called him for the foul. We'll have to wait and see here. No, it's called on Argot. So they got Karras for the rebound. They're going to say that Argot was on him. That's his third, 17th foul. Karras has just picked up his 6th rebound. Somebody's got to put a butt into him to block him out underneath the hoop. 19-17, Hobbs by 2. We got some free throws coming up here for Oregon Mountain, and that will be the big kid, Karras. He is 6'5", one of the big guys on the court in this one, as he will get 2 free throws here.
Yeah, there's a little delay on this before they give the Knights the ball.
Karras finally gets it, takes a couple of dribbles. Shot is up, off the back of the rim, no good. Pulled down on the right block and tried to pivot. Boy, we got everybody getting involved with that rebound for both teams. I believe they call the jump ball. That will be for Oregon Mountain. Pacini originally had it, so he'll get the rebound. And it will be Oregon Mountain basketball on the left baseline. 19-17, Hobbs by 2. Here in the second quarter, 4:10 remaining. Coach Reeves came out on the court. 19-17 your score with 4:10 remaining here in the second, right before halftime.
He's always animate about things and wants to make sure that everything is set and properly done.
He's still kind of looking around, saying something to the official, who has yet to hand the ball off to Oregon Mountain to get the inbound on the left baseline. Inbound backdoor, and Karras somehow got open. He lays it in. That was Karras wide open for the pass, and this lays it over the left rim for the bucket. So Karras now with 6 points, matching Gonzalez for Oregon Mountain. They tied the game at 19. Back in the front court, left wing, stop and go, crossover move. Sends it up top to Archibald. Comes around the right circle. Handoff right to left to Vega. Returns it back deep. Jab step for Turbiatis, and top of the arc to Van Landingham. One hands it, coming back to get it is Archibuke, right side. Bounce past Mackey, right base. Fadeaway jumper for 15 over 2 defenders. Hard off the back of the rim. Chased down on the right wing by Karras, his 7th rebound. Sends it ahead to Gonzalez, who's stripped from behind. He was coming down the lane on a reverse right to left. And the hands on the basketball for Mackey. I think he got some help there from Archibuke, and unfortunately it goes out of bounds. But nice job of stripping that from Gonzalez, who was trying to do an NBA play down the paint that time.
Well, it did slow down the momentum of the Knights for that one.
Trying to get it in on the back door. Off the hands of Karras on the right block. Taken away for the Eagles by Archibuke with his 7th Oregon Mountain turnover. To Van Landingham on the timeline. He'll bring it across, stop and go. Drives right baseline after the cradle, throws up a half shot, and it's rejected and pulled down by Gonzalez. Tried to do a little sidewinder hook that time, didn't work. We got a foul coming back. I think Van Landingham getting a little bit out of control defensively and was kind of swiping from behind. They called the foul on him. That's his second, 18th foul against the Eagles. And that will send Trayvon Dale Ferraro to the line, as Ferraro will get a chance for the one-on-one bonus.
See if the Knights can get back into the lead with this one shot right here.
Ferrero shooting 75% and puts an air ball, not an air ball, but a brick off the back of the rim, so Ferrero can't get it to drop. Nice pull down for the Eagles by Turbiatis, his second board. Throws it across the timeline to Debo Marquez. Stop and go, right wing. Double team against him momentarily. Crossover move, right baseline. Puts a jump stop on. Sends it back to the left elbow to Archibald. Fires to the right side. Ricochet to Debo. Hands off at the timeline to Mackey to the right wing off the dribble. He falls to the floor looking for help and puts it back deep. Eagles sloppy ball passing here. Archibald almost lost it in the backcourt as the ball came to him. Hands off to Mackey, top of the circle. Sends it to the left wing to Vega with a couple of dribbles. Kicks it to the right wing to Archibald to the free throw line off the dribble. On the runner shot, turned around, throw it up and good, and the foul. He was coming down the middle of the lane, fading left of the paint, throws it up on the run and gets shoved. Count the basket, foul on Gonzalez, the 5th against Oregon Mountain. And that'll put Archibald on the line, his first bucket of the ball game, by the way, and a chance to make it 3 points with the free throw. as a couple of subs coming in again for both teams.
And Archibald showing some of his strength right there as he was able to make that shot even after the foul was given to him.
Archibald 3 of 8 from the charity stripe for 38% on the season, getting his first opportunity in this ball game, though. Trying to make it a three-point play. It's a swish for him. He's got 3 points. Boy, Ron, 8 players in the scorebook so far. Some good signs for the Hobbs Eagles here at Task Arena in front of their home crowd. They lead by 3, 22-19. In the front court, crossover for Gonzalez to the far sideline. Fumbles it out of bounds. Great play before Mackey to step right in his path on that far right sideline. And that will be another turnover for Oregon Mountain, their number 8 of the game.
And that's another reason why you press. You throw off the rhythm of that offense of the Oregon Mountain Knights.
Coming across the timeline, stop and go for Pena. One hand pass to Mackey on the near side right.
Yep.
He'll drive base to the corner against double team. Puts it back up top. Pena with the jump stop. He'll back out to the timeline off the dribble with 2:15 left here in the second. Eagles by 3. One hand bounce pass to Mackey, right baseline, fadeaway 18-footer, clinks off the rim, going back up behind him. Right block is Chris Archibald, gets fouled on 2 defenders. Leaned in towards the hoop on that block. And Archibald with his first rebound of the ball game. He's going to get a chance for another free throw opportunity. He's 1 for 1 from the charity stripe, was just there seconds ago. So deja vu for the Eagles, who lead by 3 with 2:09 left here in the second over Oregon Mountain. Archibald will get 2 on this one. First one is up and a swish, right where he had it the last time. 4 points for him. He's starting to move up in the scoring for the Eagles. We mentioned in the pregame show that the Eagles currently sitting in the Max Preps poll at number 9, Oregon Mountain at 6. And in the coaches poll, it's Hobbs at 10, Oregon Mountain at 8. So kind of the similar area of the top 10 in the state so far. Second free throw off the back of the rim, no good for Archibald, as it's pulled down for the Oregon Mountain Knights by Bynum, his third. He brings it across the timeline, sends it left to Coombs. Touch pass left side to Wilson. Wilson returns up top to Coombs. He'll back it out to the timeline with 1:55 left in the half. Stop and go, free throw line. Underhands it on the right wing and then put back up top to reset to Wilson. He goes to the handoff to Bynum. Bynum pivots, almost got a walk, finds Wilson on the right wing. Bounce pass right base. That's Karras backing in, turns and fires a 5-footer, gets shoved in the elbow. Gets chopped by Chris Archibald. Ball sails over the rim, and that'll be a foul on the Eagles. And that for Hobbs will be their 9th team foul, as they'll charge that one to Turbiatis, actually.
I like how they get in the paint, the Knights do, and they pressure, or they put a pressure against the defense to try to stop them without fouling them. And so far, they've been pretty good about getting those fouls, the Knights have.
Oregon Mountain 2 of 5 from the line, though, 40%. Team that came in at 74%. Swishing it is Karras. He's 1 of 2 now from the line, has 7 points. All 7 of Karras' points, by the way, in the second quarter. This team has got, like I mentioned, a couple of their games this season, some stellar free throw shooting. 19 of 19 in one game, 8 of 8 in another. Second shot's good for Karras. Back-to-back for him. He's got a total of 8 now to lead the team. 23-21. Hobbs by 2 still. In the front court, Marquez comes left, hand off to Mackey, but throws it in his chest. He had to go chase it back on the timeline, and he gives it back to Pena. Stop and go for Pena, crossover through his legs, right side. One hands it off to Marquez. Goes baseline spin, right block, fadeaway, gets blocked in the air, and pulled down by Bynum, his 4th rebound. He'll dribble across the timeline, top of the arc, jump stop, shot on the way for 3, and puts it through over the outstretched hand of Archibald. So that's going to be Bynum, making 8 points for him, his second tray of the game. 24-23, Oregon Mountain back up by 1. It's been a while for them, though. In the front court, Pena, bad pass to the left wing, taken away by Bynum. Goes backdoor and a scoop shot on the way, up and in for Oregon Mountain is putting it through, was Del Ferraro, or correction, that was Wilson for the Eagles. 4th turnover, though, 26-23, a 3-point Oregon Mountain lead. Coming across the timeline for Hobbs is Pena, right wing. Gets a screen from Turbiatis, doesn't use it, trying to cross over, lost the ball, getting too tricky, has to dive for it as it's loose at the half-court line, right near the Hobbs Eagle logo. And looks like, did he get a timeout? I think he might have just beat the jump ball call there from the official. Yep, timeout for the Eagles. 34 seconds left here in the first half. Oregon Mountain coming from behind, leading 26-23 over the Eagles. We'll be back in 30 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network. 26-23 your score here. Oregon Mountain leading over Hobbs here in the second quarter. 34 seconds remaining, and Oregon Mountain going on a little bit of a run here, Ron.
Yeah, and I've noticed that too. They started off basically at the beginning of the game with a run, and they're back again with another run. Of course, we always know that basketball is just a set of runs, whether it be good or bad. Right now, the Knights are flourishing with their good run.
Yeah, they got some people stepping up. Karras is getting a lot of second chance opportunities in the paint, but the Eagles have got 8 players in the scorebook so far, make it 9 with Archibald just getting a couple buckets and some free throw opportunities. Eagles down by 3 with 28. They got in the front court. On the right wing, Pena gets stripped. They're going to call the foul, and not liking the call, jumping in the air is Wilson as he gets his 3rd personal. He got a piece of the ball, and a lot of dribbling way outside the perimeter and a lot of crossovers and all that type of stuff, and it's getting the ball knocked away. Eagles need to learn their lesson here, at least late in the second. It hasn't been happening the whole game, but right now it's caused a little bit of a run for Oregon Mountain. But that will be Wilson's 3rd personal, and the 7th, or make it the 19th, or excuse me, the 16th foul against Oregon Mountain.
Yeah, well, Wilson wasn't happy with that because if he would have gotten that cleanly, he had a straight shot to the basket. All he would have had to do is just make sure he made it.
Table has 7 fouls. That will put the Eagles on the line. Abraham Pena to get the 1-and-1. Nice knee bend there, and swishes through the first one. That's Pena's first point of the ball game. In terms of free throws for the season, Pena came in shooting 67%. Definitely going to help out the numbers there with that nice swish on the first one.
Definitely.
One more shot here for Pena.
I like his follow-through like you were talking about, too. Unfortunately, that one didn't make it, though.
Off the back of the rim, pulled down by the big kid. That's Karras' 8th rebound. Sends it across the timeline to Bynum. Over to the left wing to Pacini. He'll send it back to the timeline. Reset there for McDaniel. In the middle of the paint to the big kid again. Karras back to McDaniel. 3 on the way, no good. Tipped up in the air and bounces around to the baseline. Coombs tried to push it through, but no good. Pulled down for Lehman. Lehman sends it ahead. Shot at the buzzer at the free throw line is rejected. And the Eagles can't get another bucket to try to tie the game up, as they'll have to go down by 2 at the half. 26-24, Oregon Mountain leading by the deuce over your Hobbs Eagles. We'll take a 3-minute break and come back with some point production for you at halftime here at Tasker. Again, 26-24, Oregon Mountain, live on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Welcome back to halftime here at Tasker Arena as we hit the holiday season here as the Eagles preparing for the holiday tournament. A couple of days after Christmas, they trail Oregon Mountain 26-24, and ironically, this will be the team they play the first round of the Hobbs Holiday Tournament. And you kind of wonder how that game got scheduled, knowing they're going to play them this close like this back-to-back. But we've had some other teams like from El Paso that have had the same situation. Eagles played about a few days before than they had them in the tournament. Kind of look a little bit nervous there at the beginning. The Eagles are down by several points, but come back strong with some good defensive pressure, getting a lot of people involved, and 9 players scoring in the first half for the Eagles. So that's definitely a good sign for the bench personnel that have stepped up. And maybe Coach Reese just rolled out the basketball in practice and said, hey, you got to earn your time here. Do it somehow. It doesn't have to be scoring, but step up, rebound, go after the basketball, dive on the floor for it, and make sure you make your earning keep out here on the court.
And that's Eagle tradition right there. If you make a mistake, you're pulled out. If you're not showing improvement, you're pulled out as well. So, yeah, I mean, he is always consistently watching all the players, making sure that he has the best on the court. And even so, even when you are doing well, sometimes you just need a little bit of a break to get your energy back and get those legs back underneath you as well. So I know Shelby's coaching, always coaching during the game.
I know this Oregon Mountain team kind of had some growing pains last year. They had 3 freshmen and 2 sophomores on the lineup, but several of those guys were getting some start times too. Oregon Mountain finished 15-15 on the season, but again, those guys that were young last year, 5 of them, moving up to the squad this year, so that was kind of the threat the Eagles were worried about, and that's why they have a 7-1 record at this point. Pretty tough squad. But the Eagles holding close, a very low-scoring game. Only 50 points on the scoreboard, 26-24 the score. Oregon Mountain leading by 2. Let's take a look at the individuals first here, as nobody in double digits for either team yet. The closest, though, for Oregon Mountain is a couple of guys. Amron Bynum, he has 8 points, hit 2 trays in the second quarter, and has 4 rebounds, so he's definitely a threat so far. Brandon Karras, the post player, 6'5" junior, 8 points, all coming in the second quarter. That included 3 buckets and 2 for 3 free throw shooting, and leads both teams with 8 rebounds. So somebody's definitely got to block him out. He had a lot of second chance points in the paint and getting some free throws after that when people weren't blocking him out.
Yeah, and it's usually the same kind of shot, too. He's just been underneath the basket, being able to get those points in. And, this Oregon Mountain team has so far this year has an average of 62 points. They're a little low on that right now, but, if things go the way they want to, it could definitely happen. But, Hobbs has definitely got something to say about that.
Yeah, you mentioned 62 average for Oregon Mountain, 53 points a game for the Hobbs Eagles as a comparison there. Other point production for Mountain in the first half of action. Brian Gonzalez, who leads the team in scoring, we should say. That he definitely is well ahead of second on this team in scoring at 12.3 a game. Right now, he's got half of that number at 6. And all 3 of those buckets, though, coming in the first quarter. He was kind of out of control in that second quarter. The Eagles kind of getting under his skin a little bit, so they got a little bit frustrated out there. Big drop-off in scoring after those 3. 2 for Yene Wilson with 1 bucket. And then just some singles. Aiden Pacini, 1 for 2 on the line. Ethan Coombs, 1 for 2. And that's pretty much it. They've had a total of 6 scores in the first half. They went 4 of 8 at Oregon Mountain from the free throw line for 50%. But I think a glaring number in this game, actually one for their benefit and one for their demise. Oregon Mountain has out-rebounded the Eagles 21-11. A lot of those on second chance points in the paint. But they have more turnovers. In fact, doubling the turnover numbers of the Eagles. They've got 8. Hobbs only has 4. And I think that's what got the Eagles back into this ball game.
Well, absolutely did. And, they live and die sometimes with a fast break and the turnover as well. This season, not so much, but they will take advantage as many times as they can for those turnovers.
Let's look at the Hobbs side of the scoring so far. Pretty evenly matched at the top 3 or 4 spots. Michael Mackey leading with 6 points, but all of his production coming in the first quarter. So I think he's under the same type of situation that Brian Gonzalez is. Got a little bit frustrated, getting a lot of pressure on him too. He had double teams coming at him quite a bit on the perimeter. So just 6 so far, but he's got a whole second half to work. Chris Archibald coming off the bench doing some impressive stuff. All 4 of his points in the second quarter. He was also 2 for 3 from the charity stripe. So that shows you that he's banging pretty hard in the paint.
It sure does. And I just love the fact that, like I said, they are getting better with those charity stripe shots.
Jairus Turbiatis coming off the injury. Didn't get to play in the Artesia tournament, but tonight he's 4 points on the board, all coming in the second quarter, and has 2 rebounds. A tray hit by Caleb Lehman for his points of the game for a 3. Brian Acosta hit a bucket coming off the bench for 2. Omar Argot, the starter, has 2 points, 1 rebound, but has 3 fouls he's straddled with at the half. And then 1 point apiece for Devo Marquez. He's 1 of 2 on the line. Braylon Vega, the freshman, 1 of 2 on the charity stripe. He was a starter tonight. Abraham Pena, kind of a quiet game for him so far, 1 of 2 for 1 point. As he mentioned, 9 scores in the books for the Eagles. They were 5 of 9 from the charity stripe for 55%, 5% better than Oregon Mountain in the first half. We did mention they got out rebounded though, 21-11. A couple of guys with 2 apiece, Michael Mackey, Caleb Lehman, and Jairus Turbiatis. And the turnovers we mentioned too, 8 for Oregon Mountain, 4 for the Eagles. Hobbs outscored Oregon Mountain 14-9 in the first quarter, but then a big turnaround for Oregon Mountain. They had a 17-10 margin in the second quarter after we saw the run for the Knights. So a 2-point ball game at the half, 26-24.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was the quarterback's first 2 points of the season for Aragon Argot, right?
I'll have to double check on that. You might be right about that. I know he's had some good rebounding games so far, but he loves to set those screens too. Definitely like to see him out there. Nope, he's averaging 2.8 a ball game.
Oh, all right.
So he's on
I remembered wrong.
He's on his average right now.
Right.
We'll take a quick 30-second break, ready for second half action. It's Oregon Mountain 26, your Eagles 24. Come back with us.
That tournament for Hobbs Holiday.
Get ready for the third quarter action now. The Eagles will inbound just near the Taskovich band. As throwing it in for Hobbs, Braylon Vega gets into the backcourt to Pena. Also on the court for the Eagles, Omar Argot, Turbiatis, and Mackey. One hand bounce pass to Turbiatis, a double post on the high side. Go down to Mackey, back door, go to the right side, double clutch and scores. Mackey with 8 points to lead the Eagles, and we are tied at 26. Eagles' biggest lead has been 8-4 for the Knights. In the front court is Gonzalez. Crossover move right wing through his legs. Goes it back deep to the timeline to Coombs. Down the left block, it's knocked away, and Kurt Turbiatis running full speed at the basketball, knocks it out on the far left sideline. But good job of getting in the passing lane against the big kid, Karras.
Yeah, definitely disrupted the play for the Oregon Knights.
Mentioned at halftime that Karras definitely a physical presence in the paint at 6'5". They get it into him again on the inbound left block. Spins left, now right. Puts up a shot off the left glass and puts it through the hole. Karras now leading both teams with 10 points. The first guy to make it to double digits. 28-26 Oregon Mountain. In the front court, stop and go Pena. Comes down the lane, lost ball, picked up by Turbiatis to save it at the free throw line. Returns to Pena back at the time stripe. Comes around the right circle. On the sideline. Gets a screen over there by Argot. Bounce it up top to Turbiatis. Handoff coming left to right to Vega. Back over to left side to Turbiatis. Back deep up top of the circle to Argot. And over to Pena on the far sideline. Stop and go. Crossover move to the free throw line. Fade away 18-footer. In and out, no good. Can't get it to drop. Chasing it down left corner for Oregon Mountain on the save is Pacini. And it's going to be their basketball as well as getting a hand on it for the Eagles to knock it out was Omar Argot. And he's saddled with 3 fouls so far. He's got to be careful on this defense. Playing real aggressive out there. Got to give him a lot of credit for putting the energy out.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, the Knights they planned on that one to get Argot to have the out of bounds.
Cheney brings it across the timeline. Eagles backed off in a half-court defense. Over to Gonzalez left wing. Touch pass same side to Pacini. One hands it back to the timeline to Bynum. Again to Pacini on the left wing. Guarded by Pena. Dribbling left to right. Back to timeline to the right wing. to Coombs. Coombs with a stop and go, top of the circle. Underhand flick to Pacini, to the right elbow, up top again to Bynum. Swing it to the left side, driving paint is Coombs. The lefty shot off the side of the rim, no good. Ball gets tipped in the air a couple of times by the Eagles. Mackey tries to pull it down and throw it. He gets stripped, taking it to the rack on the layup, and a foul. Count it for Karras. He'll get a chance for a three-point play, 12 points for Karras. That was the 5th Eagle turnover. It looked like Mackey might have got hit on the arm as he tried to throw down court. That will be the turnover, though, for the Eagles, and Karras will get a chance for that three-point play, leading by 4, 30-26.
Yep, sometimes the referees are just too human, can't see everything.
Substitution for the Eagles coming in, Brian Acosta. As it'll put Karras on the line. He is 2 for 3, 66% as a team. They're 50%, 4 of 8 are the Knights. High shot on the rainbow free throw is good. 13 now for Karras, 5 of those here in the third quarter. 31-26, a 5-point Oregon Mountain lead, biggest of the ball game. Bounce pass in the front court of the free throw line to Van Landingham. Or correction, that was Acosta to the right wing. Pena slings it up top to Turbiatis. 31-26 the score. Bounce it to Mackey, left baseline. Goes on 2 defenders in the rack. Reverse layup underneath the hoop, left to right, no good. And a rebound pulled down by Oregon Mountain by Del Ferraro, his first. Sends it ahead to the right wing front court to Karras. Cross court left to Ferraro. Drives the lane, a fader shot, and puts it through over the top of the iron. Ferraro with his first bucket of the ball game. 33-26, the biggest lead is 7 for Oregon Mountain. On a run here in this third quarter. Dribbling to the right wing, and Coach Reeves out of the court calls a timeout. Everybody kind of stopped, heard the whistle, was wondering what the call was, and Coach Reeves wants to talk to his troops for 30 seconds. We'll keep it right here as you're listening live to HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and at Cool 95.7 on the radio. Don't forget, tomorrow afternoon, Ron, a game for the Hobbs Eagles against Mayfield. The Trojans coming to town, and I know there's been kind of some discrepancy on game time, but the game will start at 3:15 for the pregame show, 3:30. I know some of the tickets that went out were mentioning the nighttime start, but it will be a 3:30 tip-off, and we'll have it on all 3 stations, of course, with the radio and the 2 internets right here.
Yeah, and I feel kind of bad for Mayfield because so right now they've started off with their season with their first win. They've had 7 losses in a row. Tonight, at this time, actually, they're playing against Cleveland, who is a very strong team, and then they're playing at home. Then they got to turn around, come here in the afternoon to play Hobbs, and that won't be easy either. So you're obviously looking at a 1-9 start for this Trojans team.
And we should also mention, too, Oregon Mountain, the team Eagles are playing right now, they have 8 of their 9, or let's see, 7 of their 8 games have been on the road. They've only had 1 home game. Their only loss was to Volcano Vista, who's ranked in the both the polls right now. Volcano Vista number 1 in both the coaches poll and the Max Preps poll. That was the only loss that Oregon Mountain had. Right. That was a road game as well.
Exactly, and a lot of these, or quite a few of these, are tournaments. So yeah, they've got their definitely have their road legs on them, and that could prove something either tonight and or for the holiday tournament.
Hey, if you like road legs, wait till January for the Hobbs Eagles, and we'll be a part of that moving around the state with all the games coming up. We'll talk about those later on. Hobbs basketball after a timeout. Pena gets it up top to Acosta to the free throw line. Back to Pena, an NBA 3 from the left. It's good. So Pena strokes it through. His first bucket of the ball game. Does have 4 points after a free throw as well. It's 33-29. Definitely a good time to get that after the timeout. Hobbs down by 4. 5:05 left, third quarter. Oregon Mountain in the front court. Del Ferraro over to the right wing. Dribbling a few times. Martinez returns it to the left side to Pacini. Hippity-hop move, gets swatted as he tried to go up with the Statue of Liberty. Mackey gets a piece of it. Sends it ahead. Windmill layup on the right side. Back-to-back buckets for Pena. Boy, the sophomore starting to light him up. Gets the crowd fired up. 6 points now for him. Back-to-back off the buckets. And now a 33-31 lead for Oregon Mountain. They dump it down to the left block to Karras. Fadeaway J from the baseline. Air ball. Put back up and rejected as he's going up with it is Bynum. He had 2 guys swatting at him from behind. That was Pena and Vega to get a piece of it. It goes out on the right baseline for Oregon Mountain underneath their hoop.
And just like that, 5 scores for the Hobbs Eagles to end that run for the Onate Knights.
Oregon Mountain has some trouble getting it in from the baseline. Finally gets bounced in, put down in the left base to Ferraro underneath the hoop. Sends it to the right base to Karras. 15-footer, no good. Gets his own rebound on the second chance again. Leans in from the right block and throws it over the rack for 2. Karras has got to be blocked out here for the Eagles. That's his 9th rebound. 15 points to lead both teams. Oregon Mountain by 4, 35-31 here in the third. Crossover move, front court, Pena. Top of the circle. Touch pass to Mackey on the left wing. Sends it up top to Acosta. Swing it to the right side to Pena. Pena with a triple threat, uses up his dribble. Finds Vega top of the circle to Mackey on the left wing. Gets stripped in front of the Hobbs student section as he gets hammered hard off the foul by Mike Martinez. That'll be his first. And that will be the first team foul against Organ Mountain here in the second half. Both teams with one foul apiece here.
Yeah, they're both playing very well. That's why this is a close game. But I expect to see Hobbs come back strong.
Inbound to Payne into the timeline. Comes right with it. Handoff to Mackey. Gets stripped at the timeline. A hand on it by Del Ferraro, but getting it back is Mackey. No-look pass right corner. 3 on the way for Pena off the front of the rim. High in the air off the rebound. Pulling it down in the paint is Bynum for his 5th board. He'll send it back to his guard to slow it up. Del Ferraro at the time stripe as he is guarded by the Eagles. Acosta with 3:40 left in the quarter. Unloads the left wing to Pacini. Dumps it same side right behind him to Karras. Karras sends it back deep to Del Ferraro. To the left wing to Pacini. Back to Ferraro. He's going to back out to the timeline with 3:28 left third quarter. He up by 4 for the Eagles. Gets a strip taken away by Acosta for the turnover number 9. He tries to drive down the left side of the lane. Gets pushed in the back. And a retaliation foul for Organ Mountain. That will put the Eagles back on the line for the free throws. Referees having a discussion now after the call. They're going to call that a intentional foul too. That was what they discussed. So that adds the 2-shot foul and the ball, and that will clear the lane as well. They'll charge the foul to Del Ferraro, his first, second team foul. So 2 free throws coming here for the Eagles and the ball. It's almost like a tech.
Right. I mean, and it was an intentional foul. I mean, that's what if he hadn't done it, then he would have definitely gotten the shot and probably made it as well. So if you're the offense, if you're playing defense, you definitely want to stop them at any means, and unfortunately just hit him a little too hard.
That was on Martinez. He already picks up 2 fouls here back-to-back, and the first free throw is up and good for the Eagles. So the first one put through for Acosta. He's got 3 points.
I got a score from Eunice just earlier played. They played against Dexter 2-7, Eunice 4-3, and the final score was 58-42 with a Eunice victory.
16-point win for the Cards. Congrats on that game, and both free throws put down for Acosta. He's got 4 points. Eagles are now 7 of 11 from the charity stripe. And now a 2-point Organ Mountain lead, but the Eagles get the ball back after the intentional foul call. They're going to actually take the kid out that did that, too. Coach wasn't happy. Coach Gonzalez pulls out Del Ferraro. Eagle basketball, inbound top of the circle. Pena, fade away from the free throw line. Hippity-hop. Ball rolls over the rim and good. He got the touch, the shooter's touch on that one. He's got 7 of his points in the 3rd of his 8 total. Tied up at 35, back in business. In the front court, Karras hands it off behind on the right wing to Wilson. Back to the timeline and gets it back to Wilson. Right circle to the free throw line. Over to left wing. Bynum almost thought about a 3. Sends it back to the right instead to Wilson. Drives to the free throw line. Kick back left wing. Driving Payne is Martinez. A lean shot as he comes down the lane on the runner, and they call the foul. Ball came off the front of the iron. But he'll get a chance for a couple of free throws. He's been fouled a couple of times, has Martinez. Now he's going to be a recipient of some free throws as they charge the foul on Pena, his first, second team foul on the Eagles. So Martinez getting his first opportunity from the charity stripe. Organ Mountain is 5 of 9 from the line. First shot is up, and boy, kind of falling backward that time as Martinez couldn't get it to drop as it knocks off the back of the iron. No good on the first one. Coach Reeves going to go back to his bench and bring in Caleb Lehman.
Yeah, he shot that just a little too hard, hit the back of the rim, and didn't do anything else but come off.
One more now for Martinez. Second shot is out the back of the rim again, no good. Ball gets bounced around, and they're going to say off the foot of Brian Acosta. That will be Organ Mountain basketball on the right baseline. Tied up at 35 with 2:50 left, third quarter. Live at Tasker Arena. Inbound to the top of the circle by Wilson down the lane. High arching layup left side. It rolls over the rim and good. He got lucky on the roll that time. Didn't put enough oomph on it, but just enough to get it over. 4 points for Wilson and a 2-point Organ Mountain lead, 37-35 here in the third. In the front court, Pena comes around the right circle. Gets a screen from Acosta. Slings it up top to Archibald, who just checked in. Handoff on the left wing off the dribble to Lehman. He's going to fire up an 18-footer off the side of the rim, no good. Left. Pulled down in the right corner by Bynum, his 6th rebound. Sends it to the far side. And now dribbling across the timeline is Pacini. Stop and go, top of the circle. Unloads to Bynum, right wing, fadeaway 3. In and out, no good. Pulled down underneath the hoop, and a foul on the rebound as Chris Archibald gets his second board, and he got converged on quickly by 2 Organ Mountain players. See which one they're going to get on that one. That looks like they'll charge it to Martinez. He's picked up all 3 of his fouls here in the third quarter, and that'll be the third against the Knights as well. Clock stop with 2:10 left third as the inbound comes in the backcourt to Pena. Oregon Mountain going to back up in a half-court D. Pena will bring it across up the far right sideline. Trying to get some rotation. Hand out to Mackey right side. Flicks it over to right wing. To Acosta. Cross-court left. Jab step. Triple threat for Pena. He finds Acosta top of the circle. Gives it back to Pena. Fade away from the right elbow and swish it through. Pena's on fire this third quarter. 9 of his 10 points coming here, and we're tied at 37.
Yeah, that was a nice touch. Was nothing but net.
1:45 left here in the third. Coming across the timeline, stop and go for Pacini. Goes reverse layup right, off the back of the rim in front, no good. Big rip down on the boards for Archibuk, his third. To the timeline to Pena. Pena goes hard to the right corner, gives it off to Vega. Vega up top, faking a 3 as Acosta. Down the lane, reverse layup right. He gets shoved in the back and almost went right on the Hobbs Eagle bench. Sky high that time, landed on his back. But he'll get some free throws out of it, as they'll get a foul call against Oregon Mountain. That'll charge that one to Amron Bynum, his first and 14th foul. I've been kind of wondering, Ron, what happened to Brian Gonzalez, their second leading scorer on the season, averaging 12 points. I haven't seen him for a long time out on the court.
Man, he could be suffering from just fatigue. You know, you never know what's going on with these guys, and maybe it's just a simple matter of the coach holding him until the fourth quarter.
And he only has 2 fouls, so that really can't be the issue right now. First free throw's up and good for Acosta. Perfect on the line he is. 3 for 3. And has 5 points. All 3 of these free throws in the third quarter, and Hobbs gets the lead back 38-37.
But you got to consider this. There's only a 1-point difference, and his second score or leading scorer is not on the court. So that's not a bad sign for this Knights team right now.
He is sitting over there on the bench. Doesn't look like he's been injured. I'm not sure. Maybe he's not feeling too well in this. Of course, a lot of garbage going around, RSV and COVID and flu and
the cold.
The triple threat. Second shot for Acosta, trying to keep perfect on the line for the Eagles. Shot's up, and it is good. Another swish. He keeps putting them through the threads and has 6 points, 4 of those on the line. Perfect 4 for 4. And then a sub coming in for him. That's going to be Caden Hall. Nice round of applause for the Acosta free throw shooting. 39-37, Eagles by 2, 1:20 left here in the third. Nice back and forth game here at Tasker Arena. Coming across the timeline is Wilson to the left wing. Gets a screen up top off the dribble for Karras. Stops to get to shoot an NBA 3. The defense backed way away from him, and he makes him pay for it with the tray. Third tray of the game for Oregon Mountain now. 7 points for Wilson. 40-39 Oregon Mountain. 1 minute left third. In the front court comes Debo Marquez. Crossover to the left side. Bounce pass to Mackey. Got caught in traffic. Got away from them. Throws it up top to Hal Hall. Over to right wing to Marquez with a jab step. Goes down low to the right block to Archibuk. Double team. Goes up between 2 defenders. Tries to throw it. It's rejected and ripped away by the big kid, Karras. Throws it across the timeline to Pacini. One-hander over to the near side to Wilson on the right. With the jab step. Gets a tough guard by Vega. Kick up top to Wilson. Fires up a 3 from the right. Fade away and count it. And he got bodied as he threw up the shot. So a chance for a 4-point play as they call the foul. Back-to-back trays for Wilson. He's got 10 points. And body up foul, not where you wanted it to happen. This kid's starting to get hot on the shot now. That will be the Eagles' third team foul. They're going to call the second there on Vega.
Yeah, you want to go ahead and try to block the shot without trying to go into him, but that's unfortunately what happened for the Eagles. They hit him while he was in the midair. He did make the shot as well, so he's got a 4-point chance right now. 8
of 10 of his points are in the third quarter is Wilson, and now making 9 of 11 as he makes that one too. Perfect on the line. 44-39, 5-point lead for Oregon Mountain. Eagle basketball, 25 seconds left, third quarter. Marquez in the front court, spin to the top of the circle. Backs it out to the timeline with 18. Crossover move as he takes on the defense of Pacini. Lost the ball off the handoff, and taking it the other way goes Oregon Mountain, and with a little finger roll over the front of the rim is Bynum for 10 points. Eagles, 6 turnover. 46-39, long pass to the other end is stolen again for Oregon Mountain. Taken away by Wilson, the 7th Eagle turnover. They come down the lane with it, and the reverse layup put through before the buzzer, as Oregon Mountain is starting to come up on fire as a bucket put down by Wilson to finish up the third quarter. 13 points for Yanni Wilson, and 11 of those in the third. At the end of 3, it's Oregon Mountain 48, their biggest lead, 9 over Hobbs 39. Back in 60 on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Hobbs Eagles trailing here as we head to the fourth, 48-39 to Oregon Mountain, as the Eagles scoring 15 in the third quarter and 22 for Oregon Mountain to get that 9-point lead. Now we got some guys in double digits finally. It's Abraham Pena with 10. 9 of those points coming in the third quarter, including a tray, and 8 for Michael Mackey. And for Oregon Mountain, they got 15 for Karras, 13 for Wilson, and 10 for Bynum. We got an illegal screen call against Oregon Mountain on their first possession here in the fourth quarter. That will be their 10th turnover. Rebounding situation, it's 26 for Oregon Mountain and 14 for the Eagles. Definitely a lot of second efforts there in terms of scoring opportunities for the Knights. But there's been 10 turnovers for Oregon Mountain, just 7 for the Eagles, so they lead in that category. Pena comes into the front court off the right wing. He'll back it out to the far right sideline, down by 9. Crossover move, sends it back to the left side to Argot. Handoff right behind him to Vega. Comes down the paint, hippity-hop, reverse layup right side and scores. Off the right glass, Vega, the freshman, now has 3 points, his first bucket. 48-41, Hobbs down by 7. And we got a whistle at the other end. Coach Gonzalez wants a timeout. He doesn't want this lead to get away from his Oregon Mountain squad.
Yeah, put out that fire while it gets just started up. You know, Hobbs had the perfect opening for this, and I think the coach for Oregon Mountain knew that as well. You know, the last time we saw a score like this here in Hobbs was going all the way back between these two teams to 2009, 12-19, when it was 52-48. Hobbs with that victory, but that was one of those situations at that time when Hobbs wasn't scoring, or was scoring more than that, so it was kind of a unique thing at the time to see him just score 52 and win a game.
Of course, you mentioned earlier tonight, Ron, with record 15-7, I believe you said, Hobbs,
yes,
with the series against Oregon Mountain. Tomorrow, of course, the Eagles will play Mayfield, 3:15 pregame show, tip-off at 3:30. Last year, the Eagles kind of struggled on the road in Las Cruces, only beat Mayfield 80-76, and that's a team that was only 13-15 on the season, so 2 below 500. They were 500 on the district level at 6-6. But again, close game. Of course, the Eagles played Oregon Mountain the night before, so that's the situation was a doubleheader and had to turn around just like these teams are doing this year on the road. Eagles had some issues at the free throw line in that game, 3 for 9, but they had 5 trays put down. And they also out-rebounded Mayfield 29-28 to get that win. The Trojans had a couple of players that are back this year. We'll talk about that in the post-game show. But again, Mayfield sits at 1-7 on the season. You mentioned, too, they're playing Cleveland tonight.
And in fact, actually, I've got an update on that one, too. It was a close game in the end. It was 41-40, Cleveland getting the squeaker of a victory.
Boy, that's a very close game. And, of course, Mayfield's got another hard one tomorrow against the Eagles. Oregon Mountain basketball in their front court after the timeout. Left wing is Wilson. To the right side to Bynum. Touch pass to the right wing as well to Pacini. Cross court left. They're going to keep moving around the perimeter and return it back up top to Coombs. Touch pass to the right wing to Wilson. Drives to the free throw line. Dumps it down in the left corner. Thought about shooting down the paint and gives it over to the side anyway. And returns back deep to Bynum. Stop and go for him. Just running clock. Coombs will come back and get on the near side. Backs out to the timeline. Stop and go. Kicks it right to Wilson, fires another 3. This one an air ball. Ball's getting run around with by 2 players, both getting a hand on it. One for the Eagles, one for Oregon Mountain, and they were having a little tussle with the basketball. Looked like that was between Amira Bynum and for the Hobbs Eagles, Braylon Vega. And it will be a jump ball, arrow for Hobbs. So it will go now as a turnover for Oregon Mountain. That will be their 11th of the game. Coming across the pike with it is Pena. Gets a double team, screen. Over to Mackey on the right wing. Stop and go, crossover move. Turns and fires an 18-footer on the fadeaway. In and out, no good. Ball gets tipped to the baseline and fumbled out of bounds by Ethan Coombs. It almost looked like that Omar Argot might have got some hands on his hips that time, and a few of the Oregon Mountain players are talking to the referee about it. And coaches are out on the floor at the other end for Oregon Mountain. Coach Gonzalez and staff thought he did get pushed to the floor. Looked pretty close. Eagles get the inbound to the right wing. Pena going to fire an NBA 3. It swishes it through. Pena now at this second tray of the ball game leads the Eagles with 13 points and a 48-44 ball game. Nice little shot there to get the Eagles back in clawing condition here. Down by 4, 6:05 left in the fourth. Pass to the timeline to Wilson. Comes down the left side of the lane. Dish off left wing to Pacini. He drives the pike. Goes reverse slap over the front of the rim. They call the charge. Mackey wait for him and gets run over by Pacini. Pacini's first personal 15th foul. That will be the A 12th turnover for the Knights. So great job for Mackey. He saw the kid was going to take off to the rack, and he paid the price of running over Michael Mackey.
Yeah, and the coach was arguing that call, but there's nothing he can say or do that will change that call to overturn it anyway.
13 for Pena, 8 for Mackey, 6 for Acosta. The leaders for Organ Mountain, 15 Karras, 13 Wilson, 10 for Bynum. Eagles in the front court. Pena hands off to Mackey, going from right to left. Top of the circle. Spins at the lane. Throws up a shot, fade away from the free throw area. No good. Rebound right block for Karras. His 10th of the contest. A double-double with him. 15 points as well. Organ Mountain in the front court. They transition to Wilson. Top of the circle. Slings it right to Coombs. Back to Wilson at the timeline. Back near the scorer's table with the pivot. Get some pressure there for the Eagles. D by Vega. Cross court right to Bynum. Top of the circle. Holding it for a second is Coombs. To the left corner. Driving baseline Wilson. A fade shot off the back of the rim. No good. Ball comes off the hands of Organ Mountain, trying to get the rebound, but lost it off his fingertips right at the baseline. Was the big kid, Karras. That would have been his 11th rebound of the game, but does not get it as he fumbles it out of bounds. Never did have a grip on it, so no turnover on that one.
And he was picked up off the floor by the opponent, by Hobbs, so that shows a bit of a sportsmanship right there.
Eagles have been down by as many as 9 points here in the third quarter, now in the fourth, but only trail by 4. So Hobbs in some good shape, but on a 5-0 run here into the fourth quarter. And now one of the referees is telling the coaching staff to sit down, at least the assistants for Organ Mountain. A little bit too much bureaucratic red tape going on there with a bunch of lobbying for that coaching staff. Pena comes across the timeline, hands off to Mackey. He wants some rotation going on the offense as he looks back to the right wing. Nobody coming out to get the ball. He wants a one-on-one, drives it down the middle of the paint. Hippity-hop, gets stripped from behind. And they're going to call the jump ball. Looks like they did get a hand on the basketball as he came forward down the lane. Good D by Ethan Coombs to get the jump. And that will be a turnover for the Eagles after the alternating possession. That's their 8th turnover of the game, but 12 total for Organ Mountain. Still a 4-point lead for the Knights. 4:50 left here in the fourth. Dribbling behind his back into the front court is Coombs. Mackey gets a piece of the ball, and they call the reach foul. Crowd think that was a quick whistle that time. For Mackey, that'll be his first personal, just the 14th foul on the Eagles.
So no shooting on this one so far, but that does reset the offense for the Knights.
They'll have it near the half-court line, just above it there in front of the Taskovich band. Inbounding will be Coombs. Bounces it dangerously at the time stripe to Wilson, almost stolen by Mackey. Wilson recovers, crossover to the left wing, gives it off to Pacini. Underhands it up top to Coombs, slings it to the left side to Bynum outside the perimeter, drives the paint, goes to the rack, scoop shot over the top of the rim and puts it off the glass for 2 and the foul. So Bynum now with 12 points. Got a quick first step, going hard to the rack left that time. Count the basket and the foul on the Eagles. That'll be the 5th against the squad as they charge that one to Vega, his 3rd. Vega will take a seat and they'll bring in Ethan Van Landingham, his first game of the season, of course, we mentioned, with the collarbone injury from football, the last home game the Eagles had in the playoffs.
You know, that shot is very hard to defend. It's a nice little layup, and all you have to do is just hope for the best and not foul, but unfortunately that happened, and they got the free throw.
First free throw of the night for Bynum. He's got 13. 51-44, back to a 7-point Knight lead. Front court, stop and go. Pena, crossover, free throw line, down the right side of the paint, tries to go up with a double clutch. His foul, got hammered from behind, was pushed, I believe, by Wilson. And that for Wilson will be his 4th personal. Of course, they love to get him on the bench with 13 points so far. Oh, wait a minute. They're saying 5 on him. I'd him down for 4. No, yep, coaching staff for Organ Mountain is running up to the table. They think it's 4 as well. Oh, there's some big debate here. I had him down for 4. I hate to say it, but this is going to be discussed. But I don't know how they can overrule the table. If they mark 5, that's the way it's going to be, no matter what the book says from the Organ Mountain staff. That will be the 16th foul, though, or make it the 17th foul now on Organ Mountain, so it's a bonus situation for the Eagles. There's no way that a team book is going to overrule the scores table book. There's just no way it's going to happen. They're bringing the book over. Coach Gonzalez discussing with more than one referee, trying to get that foul removed, but I don't think it's going to happen.
The dejected look on his face tells the story.
That's going to put Abraham Pena on the line. So Wilson's going to foul out with 13. He had 13. Bynum still has 13. And Karras leads his squad with 15, but is yet to score in the fourth quarter. Pena on the line. He's got 13. And he's 1 for 2 on the charity stripe, including 2 trays. both in the second half. First free throw's up and good. 14 now for Pena, the sophomore point guard, and a 6-point deficit for the Eagles. 4:25 left, fourth quarter, here at Tasco Arena. Pena waiting for that second free throw. Shot is up, and it is off the back of the rim. Rebound on the right block by Bynum, his 7th. He'll dribble up into the front court, guarded by Van Landingham. On the right wing, back up top to Ferraro. Returns to Bynum, right side. Had to get it to Ferraro. Stepping out on defense against him is Gakosa. He drives the lane, tried to pass back door. It's loose, rolls out to the near side. Mackey picks it up. That's the 13th Oregon Mountain turnover. Down the lane to the right. A double clutch by Pena. Gets his shoulders ripped off hard on the foul. He hits the hardwood pretty tough as well. And he'll get a chance for 2 free throws. Boy, talk about a physical foul that time. Just got his shoulder just ripped to the ground from behind. As they call the foul on Pacini, his second, be the 18th foul, and a 2-shot foul here for Pena. He's 2 for 4 from the charity stripe. And once again, we mentioned that their second leading scorer has not played in this second half, and that's Brian Gonzalez.
Yep, strange things are happening. You never know what the story is behind it until after it's all over with. Free
throw good for Pena. He's got 15 total, 5 here in the fourth quarter, and he had 9 in the third. 51-46, a 5-point Oregon Mountain lead. Both teams have been at about the same leads, +8 for Hobbs, +9 from Oregon Mountain at one point here in the second half. Second shot's a swish for Pena. He's been 3 of 4 in the line here in the fourth quarter. Pena was 16. 51-47, Oregon Mountain by 4. Slowing the ball up as he comes across is Bynum against Van Landingham. Flips it over to the left side to Coombs on the perimeter. Underhands it back deep to McDaniel. Kick it back to the left wing to Pacini, and a timeout call for Coach Gonzalez and Oregon Mountain. And wait to see if they think they're going to come back with a stall game to kind of run the clock, or do they want to get some insurance points? I don't know if they can be happy with just a 4-point lead over the Eagles with the 6th man here at Tasco Arena. 3:45 remaining here in the fourth. Oregon Mountain 51, Hobbs 47, back in 30 on the Hobbs Eagle Network. (51-47), your Eagles trail Oregon Mountain by 4. The Knights came in with a 7-1 record. Your Eagles at 4-2. Don't forget tomorrow afternoon's coverage of the Hobbs Eagle Hoops here at Tasco Arena. 3:15 pregame. Tip-off at 3:30 as your Eagles take on the Mayfield Trojans. And you just mentioned a few minutes ago they got beat by 1 point to Cleveland tonight. Was that a road game for Mayfield?
No, that was a home game for Mayfield. But, you know, with all that going on, they have to get back on the road either tonight or early in the morning to get here for the 3:30 start of their next game. So, of course, if JV is playing, so they have to get here a little earlier, too. Yeah, it's going to be a quick turnaround for them, that's for certain.
Eagles trying to get back in this one, down by 4 with 3:45 remaining. Oregon Mountain basketball underneath their hoop on the right baseline. Desperation throw back deep and having to jump high in the air for is the big kid Karras. They're going to say he got chested up by the Eagles, and going chest to chest with him was Omar Argot. And Argot really hasn't gotten much of a flow of this game, and unfortunately he's going to foul out here. That's his 5th. And he finishes the game with 2 points and 1 rebound. So they had him saddled with fouls pretty early in the contest and couldn't recover from it. So 1 foul out for both teams. Wilson for the Oregon Mountain squad, who had 13 points, and now Argot. Inbound comes to the left wing to Karras. Karras pivoting, guarded by Turbiatis. Pulls it out with the dribble now to the scores table far left. Flicks it back to Pacini. Drives the middle of the lane. He got loose and a layup on the right side on the reverse and scores. Defense got caught, spread out. 3 points for Pacini on the scorebook tonight. 53-47, 3:20 remaining. Eagles down by 6. Stop and go. Driving right base is Pena. Flips up a hook shot off the side of the rim. No good. Ripped down by Karras. His 11th rebound. He does have a double-double. Outlet to the near sideline to Bynum. He's going to drive hard right. Shot from the right block. Short. They're going to call the push-off foul. Offensive push-off on Amarin Bynum. That's his 2nd. That'll be the 19th foul and the 14th Oregon Mountain turnover.
Of course, that happened against Van Lanningham. He is always a physical player, and I don't believe that his collarbone injury has slowed him down any at all.
Yeah, we saw him come on the court in this game in the first half, and he was full speed going at it all the time defensively. Substitution for the Eagles, Chris Archibuk returns. He's got 4 points. 6-point Eagle deficit. Their basketball, though. Pena will bring it across for the Eagles, guarded by McDaniel. Stop and go, right wing. Slides to the far sideline. Gets a screen, or almost got a screen on the right wing. Decided not to use it by Archibuk. Gives it to Turbiatis up top to Mackey left wing. Double defenders, underhands it to Van Lanningham left wing. He drives the lane, scoop shot over the front of the iron and gets it to drop. Not a pretty one. He got the fingertip roll, though, and gets it to drop over the hole. Football style that time. They're coming down the lane with the physicality. He's got 2 points. 53-49. You take him when you can get him. On the left wing, holding the ball is McDaniel. Sends it to the right side. They're going to run clock to Karras. Karras flips it back hard to Coombs. Swings it left side to Wilson. Or correction, that was Bynum. To the left wing, dribbling around is Pacini, trying to run the clock. On the left side still, as he goes baseline again, takes it to the rack with 2 hands and scores. He's had some breakaway plays like that back-to-back. Pacini now with 5 points. It's a 6-point lead for Oregon Mountain with 2:05 remaining. In the front court, getting a handoff is Mackey in front of the Taskovich band on the left wing. And a timeout called for Coach Reeves as he wants to talk to his crew. Try to see maybe get some 3-point shots to drop here to get this margin to a tie, but it's a 6-point lead for Oregon Mountain. We'll keep it right here. Point production so far, your leading scorer for the Eagles, Abraham Pena, with 16 points, and he's converted on 3 of 4 free throws in the fourth quarter. Also has a tray in this quarter as well. He's the only double-digit scorer at this point. Michael Mackey with 8 points is yet to score in the fourth, and that's pretty much the top-tier scoring for the Hobbs Eagles. But already Oregon Mountain with 3 double-digiters. Brandon Karras still on the court with 15. Wilson fouled out with 13, and Myron Bynum still on the court with 13. So they've had 3 in double figures tonight.
Yeah, and I know what he's talking about also. Besides the fact of getting rebounds, it's the fact that twice now they've been caught flat-footed on those drives for the Oregon Mountain, and they've been able to make some easy layups. They need to stop doing that as well, especially if they want to get this victory in for the Hobbs Eagles.
And it's both times it was Aiden Pacini on that left wing. He kind of just waits for a second, sees who's opening up in the paint, puts his head down and just goes, and both times he went to the basket uncontested. And they're both on reverse slams from left to right.
It seemed like the first time he was really surprised. He wasn't expecting that, so he went ahead. He had a hesitation for a second, but he went ahead and drove the lane.
So Eagles get the timeout. They'll still have possession in the front court, down by 6. They're 3-point shooters in this game so far for Hobbs. Has been a couple for Pena and 1 for Lehman. So a total of 3 trays in the contest for the Eagles. Hobbs basketball as Mackey will bring it across the timeline underneath 2 minutes. Puts it up top to Pena, dribbles left and fires a 3. Comes out the side of the iron, no good. Rebound on the right block by Karras. He's got 12 boards. Gives it back deep to his guard and bring it across the timeline is Pacini. To Karras on the right wing, back deep to the timeline to Coombs. Jab step against Mackey. Mackey not going to bite on it. Comes up and plays some tough pressure, gets a piece of the ball, able to unload to right wing, driving, and throwing up a pass down low and putting it over the front of the rim that time was, or actually, no, he did pass it. He actually shot the basketball. Yes. That was McDaniel for his first bucket. Thought he was handing it off to Karras underneath. Eagles in the front court, down by 8. Pena has it on the right wing with 1:20 remaining, 57-49. Oregon Mountain back deep to Mackey. Mackey invites a screen against Coombs, throws the ball instead to the left side to Vega. Back deep to Pena, got hit in the head, no call, dribbles the lane, gives it off right elbow to Turbiatis, who nails a J. Turbiatis gets in a bucket here with 6 points total and a 6-point ball game, underneath 55 remaining. Stop and go dribble for Bynum. He gets bumped into, a foul called in the backcourt on Van Lanningham, his 3rd. That'll be the 16th foul against the Eagles, or make it 7. That will be a 1-on-1 bonus.
Yep, now it's time to slow the roll down as far as the game and see if Hobbs can get back into it. It's going to also matter that they start getting those shots in a little quicker and making them, because last time they spent too much time dribbling the ball around, passing it around. I understand you got to do that, but sometimes you just got to get in there and make a shot.
Bynum is 1 for 1 from the charity stripe. His free throws up and swish. He's got 14 points. He'll get 1 more here. 58-51. A 7-point lead for Organ Mountain, pinning another free throw with 54 seconds remaining here in the fourth at Tasker Arena. Second shot for Bynum off the back of the rim, no good. Chased down on the right block, though, by Pacini, his fifth board. And he's going to take a shot from the right block and puts it through. Actually, correction, that was Bynum. And a timeout on the court. Bynum now with 16 points. Stops the clock with 49.5 seconds remaining. 60-51. Eagles are down by 9. We'll take a 30-second break and come back live on Cool 95.7, HobbsAmerica.com, and YouTube. (60-51) is your score here in the fourth quarter as Organ Mountain leads by 9 over the Hobbs Eagles. 49.5 seconds remaining. Organ Mountain has scored 12 in this quarter. And for the Hobbs Eagles, they had 12 as well, but it's still a 9-point lead for the Knights. Knights trying to improve to 8-1 on the season. Eagles are working on their 5th win. Of course, tomorrow we have the afternoon affair with Mayfield. And it looks like they're kind of drawing up the floor right now as a bunch of towels out there with the referees and a couple of Organ Mountain players moving those around on the floor to sop up the mess right underneath the Organ Mountain basket. Eagles have the ball, though, trailing by 9, 49 seconds remaining.
Yeah, it should be nice and dry now for that less than a minute left in this game.
Looks like Organ Mountain's going to send one defender back to mess with Pena just a bit on the pressure. Ball's going to come into Pena. Clock's running with 48. He'll bring it across the timeline, driving hard against McDaniel. Sends it to Mackey on the right wing. Couple of dribbles to the free throw line. Comes off his foot and accidentally boots it to the Hobbs Eagles student section on the turnover. That'll be the 9th of the game for the Eagles. But they do have less turnovers than Organ Mountain, who's got 14 so far, as the clock goes to 40 seconds.
We saw a similar situation with Las Lunas just a couple of weeks ago.
Inbound comes to Karras, and he's a big post player, but he likes to come get the ball once in a while, and he's taking some dribbles, crossover moves into the front court as they'll hand it off on the far sideline to McDaniel. Drives the lane, got knocked to the floor, and tried to pass. Somebody put an arm bar right into his chest and knocked him to the floor. Did stop a layup down the lane as he had a pass to a wide open player that time.
Van Landingham did that one.
Yeah, so Van Landingham will pick up the foul. That's his 4th. And that'll be a bonus situation for the Knights. That's 8 fouls on the Eagles. On the line will be McDaniel. First free throw of the game for him. Off the side of the rim, no good. And we got a crash underneath. And it looks like might have been Van Landingham coming down on top of somebody, which would be his 5th.
Yeah, 2 quick fouls will get him out of the game if that is the case. And looks like a slight injury for the Knight player as well.
Yeah, he crashed right on top of the shoulders of Bynum, who crumpled to the floor on that right block. And that will be 5 now on Van Landingham. He fouls out with 2 points. So Hobbs have had 2 foul outs so far, 1 for Organ Mountain. I believe the sub will have to come in now, and that will be he'll be the free throw shooter too.
Exactly, because yeah, he's looking at his knee right now. Looks like it's all right. Wasn't as severe as first thought.
Ray Venegas will be seeing his first action. He'll be a free throw shooter as he is the sub. Chance to put some points in the book for him if he can make some free throws. 28 seconds left in the fourth, 60-51. Organ Mountain leading over Hobbs here at Tasker. Free throws up off the back of the rim hard, but chased down in the right corner by Pacini. Throws it off a Hobbs Eagle right off the knee of Braylon Vega deep in the corner right side, or left side. And that'll be off the Eagles, so it will be Organ Mountain basketball with 27 seconds remaining.
You know, we mentioned the averages for this season, and it looks like both teams may unfortunately hit those.
Ball inside to the left block, and running down the Eagle defender is Karras with the shoulder. Ran right over the top of Turbiatis. He comes up a little bit hobbled. That'll be a charge call on Karras, his 2nd foul, 10th team foul, and a turnover number 15 for Organ Mountain. Pretty easy textbook call that time. That kid just put his shoulder down and had no shoulder pads on and just completely went over the top of Turbiatis.
Exactly.
Quick inbound and getting it back is Vega in the front court. Falls to the floor. Spin move as he gets up. 20 seconds. A runner shot down the lane off the back of the rim. And chased down on the right block on the rebound by Pacini, his 7th with 13 seconds remaining. Comes into the front court off the dribble. Double team. Back on the left wing to McDaniel and sling it to the right side to run clock to Coombs near the timeline with 3 seconds. Payne tried to knock it out but decided not to do it. The clock is going to run out here at Task Arena. Oregon Mountain gets the win, 60-51 over the Hobbs Eagles. 9-point victory for the Knights. Eagles drop to 4-3 on the season, and Oregon Mountain improves to 8-1. We'll take a 3-minute break and come back with the Hobbs Eagle post-game show live on Cool 95.7, HobbsAmerica.com, and YouTube.
You're clear.
We're back live at Tasker Arena as your Hobbs Eagles unfortunately losing tonight to Oregon Mountain 60-51, dropping to 4-3 on the season. Oregon Mountain improves to 8-1, setting up a game tomorrow. The Eagles will play Mayfield here at Tasker Arena. 3:15 pregame show and the tip-off at 3:30. Ty Friend, Ron Gunner, Tiffany Stuber, and a bunch of other people. Max tonight helping us out here on the program. And, of course, the Eagles, kind of a nip-and-tuck game through much of this one. Ron, Hobbs was up 14-9 in the first quarter. Oregon Mountain regained the lead in the halftime score of 26-24 at that point, as they outscored the Eagles 17-10 in the second quarter to take the 2-point lead. Oregon Mountain gets 22 in the third quarter. The Eagles with a total of 15. So, again, another disadvantage for the Eagles heading into the fourth quarter. And in the final quarter of play, it was 12 points for Oregon Mountain and 12 for the Hobbs Eagles. So they came to a tie in that point. But, again, people fouled out for the Eagles. Ethan Van Landingham, Omar Argot. And then, of course, one for Oregon Mountain, a bigger score. Wilson had 13 before he went out in the fourth quarter. But I think the difference in this game was rebounding. Second chance shots in the paint, especially Brandon Karras, who finished with a double-double for Oregon Mountain, 15 points and 12 rebounds. So he was a pretty big force down there. Wasn't the type of guy that just kind of lollygag in the paint. He's going up strong and getting the ball and then going back up underneath, sometimes underneath the hoop on the reverse stuff. So he pretty much kept the team going at that point. And their second leading scorer on the season, nowhere to be found in the second half. Brian Gonzalez, he had 6 points in the first half, but he sat the bench the rest of the game and did not come in. So no speculation on that. Maybe he just didn't feel well tonight. But I think some guys picking up the slack. Myron Bynum, another guy, 16 points in the game for him. He had a couple of three-pointers and several free throw opportunities as well. So scoring leaders again, Bynum was 16. 15 for Brandon Karras, the post player. Then Yenny Wilson, who fouled out, he had 13. So 3 in double figures with those guys. That's 44 of their 60 points. 3 guys getting all but 16 in this game.
Yeah, and it's amazing how they did it. But I'm going to give my tip my hat to these Knights simply because they fought. They went ahead and played. They weren't good through all the game, but they were good enough, especially in the fourth quarter when they had a couple of those free and easy shots, layups, that were uncontested by anybody at all. Even the one that was contested towards the end looked pretty good for the Knights. So, yes, Hobbs looking pretty good, hitting on almost all cylinders. Sometimes their defense is a little off, though, so I need to work on that a little bit, like you said, with the turnovers as well as some other things. But in the end, I think this was one of the Hobbs' better games, definitely against another better opponent than they've had so far this season, and hopefully they've learned more than they've taken away from this.
Well, they turned the lights off on us, and that's always a fun opportunity. We keep telling people there's a radio and video broadcast going on. I guess we're going to have to get more official about that in the future. I've got to use that flashlight from you, Ron, here for just a minute. Sorry about that. But talk about Oregon Mountain scoring in this game. We had the 3 in double figures, 16 for Bynum, 15 for Karras, 13 for Wilson. Free throw shooting wasn't stellar. They had some games we mentioned in the pregame show, 19 of 19, 8 of 8 against another squad, but tonight just 8 of 17 for 47%. I would bet that fatigue probably played a factor in this game. Hobbs likes to crash with you through start to finish, so that might have been part of the problem there. So that definitely was not their stellar stat of the night. Also had 15 turnovers, which was more than the Hobbs Eagles did at just 9. So Hobbs getting them on that back and forth game there as it progressed. So those are some of the stats for tonight for Oregon Mountain, although they do get the win, again, by 9 points. For your Hobbs Eagles, they managed to get one guy in double figures. That's Abraham Pena. He finished with 16 points in the ball game, had a couple of trays, and was at the line quite a bit. In fact, he was 4 of 6 from the charity stripe in the contest for 66%. So Pena, just a sophomore, had a quiet first quarter, just 1 of 2 from the line, but then that second quarter had 9 points, and then in the fourth quarter finished up with 6 points and 3 of 4 free throw shooting. So he really kind of was a spark plug, especially in the second half.
Yes, he was, and that's one of those things that the Trojans really did well as far as, like I said, they had a lot of emphasis, they had a lot of enthusiasm, so I think they're going to do well. Plus, they don't even have a game tomorrow, unlike the Mayfield Trojans, who are going to be coming in tonight after they had to, or tomorrow, after facing a tough Cleveland team, the Storm, just almost winning that game too. But unfortunately, the Trojans did not do that. 40-41. Of course, we're going to talk about that later on. Let's talk about this game instead.
That's
sorry,
what I was hoping.
I know.
We
Sometimes I get a little off track on that, so my bad. I got my track back on as far as this game goes. I do believe that Hobbs is going to learn on this one as far as their end game. They need to work on that a little bit more apparently because they could not get even close like they wanted to. Just was a little too much passing. Trying to get the ball in a perfect spot. Sometimes you can't do that. And also defensive-wise, they just were seeming to be a little short on that effort.
Other scores for the Eagles, Michael Mackey finished with 8 points on 4 buckets in the game. He was second leading scorer. Pair of sixes, Brian Acosta finished up with 6. He had 4 for 4 free throw shooting, perfect on the line tonight. Jairus Turbiatis coming off the bench in the second half at least for 6 points. He was a starter in the first half, though. Other scores in this game for the Eagles included Braylon Vega, the freshman. He finished with 3 points on a bucket and 1 for 2 free throw shooting. Ethan Van Landingham, his first time in action on the season after the collarbone injury, had a bucket for 2 points, although he did foul out in the fourth quarter. Chris Archibuke coming off the bench for 4 points. He was 2 for 3 from the line and had 3 rebounds for the Eagles. Some good time on the court for him. Caleb Lehman hit a tray for 3 points. Omar Argot fouled out, but he did get a bucket before that for 2 and a rebound as well. And Devon Marquez finished with 1 point, 1 of 2 on the line. So the Eagles getting a total of 10 players in the scorebook tonight. They were 12 of 17 from the charity stripe. Not too bad numbers there, 70% from the line for the Hobbs Eagles. Big deficit on the rebounds, though, 33-14 unofficially. So, again, you got to give most of that credit to the guy that got the double-double tonight, Brandon Karras, with 15 points and 12 rebounds. He almost getting close to half of the rebounding for Oregon Mount in this ball game. So Hobbs suffered a little bit in that number. And then the turnovers, though, a little bit better than Oregon Mountain, just 9 compared to 15 for the night. So that's pretty much it there, 60-51 the final. Game was back and forth. I mean, both teams had some good leads, too. The biggest lead for Oregon Mountain was 9, and the Eagles even had an 8-point lead in this game. So we saw some big runs going both directions.
Oh, yeah, absolutely we did. And as always with basketball, you never know exactly who's going to get those runs and when it's going to happen. But it's always strong. And unfortunately, though, Hobbs could not finish off with a big run. And ended up being a close game, but unfortunately out of the reach for the Hobbs Eagles. But you know what? I think they're going to learn from this one.
So they're going to play Mayfield tomorrow afternoon. The Trojans come in with a 1-8 record, lost by 1 tonight to Cleveland at home in Las Cruces. We'll have to make the trip through the mountains down there, Sacramento's, and come on up to Hobbs. Last year that team came in 13-15 on the season, so under 500, but were 500 in district, 6-6, did not make the playoffs. They lost to the Eagles only by 4 points in that game down in Las Cruces, 80-76 the final in that one. Hobbs out-rebounded the Trojans 29-28. That was a game that Ethan Van Landingham saw some action. He had only 2 points, though, but he was about the only guy that's returned to the team this year that really saw much action. Michael Mackey did not make the scoring in that game, but it was some big point production for Aaron Mora, 26. Jesus Ramos had 24, and Tyler Box with 10. Those are the 3 big scores for the Eagles in that contest. Hobbs was 5 3-pointers in the game and was 3 of 9 from the charity stripe, so suffered on the line a bit for 33% in that contest. Really nobody returning from the team that to speak of that played tonight or that the Eagles are expecting to see really dominant out there. They did have a kid, Davian Smith, who had 16 points, but I don't see him on the roster this year, so I'm not sure if he's even on the team anymore. But he had 4 3-pointers against Hobbs last year. Should have been a senior this year, but I'm not sure where he might be. So they are a 3-point shooting team. They were last year, really stroking it big from the outside. They had 7 seniors on the squad, so they lost a bunch of those guys to graduation. So kind of a rebuilding year, and I guess that's why there's a 1-8 record for the Trojans.
Yeah, plus they're suffering through an 8-game skid that I'm sure they want to get back on the winning side of it, but right now they're losing. So they have that going for them. Plus, they also have the fact that they've got a 2-game losing skid against Hobbs. The last time they won against them was 2018, but it was there. The last time they won here was going back to 2014 in January, and that was a close game too. It was 79-75. So we're looking for a bounce-back game for the Hobbs Eagles as far as the Mayfield Trojans. And Trojans, though, if they play like they did last night, it could be a close one as well for the Hobbs Eagles. You never know how it's going to go, and that's the reason why they play these games.
FYI for Mayfield, they were defeated by Carlsbad back December 13th, just a few days ago, 56-18, lost by 38 to the Cavemen. Their only win of the season at Silver to start the season. First game, 61-39 in that one. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a sneak peek at the Mayfield Trojans. Tomorrow we'll have the pregame show, an earlier start, 3:15. Tip-off at 3:30 here at Task Arena, so enjoy the game. And that will be the last contest for boys basketball until the holiday tournament, which is coming up after Christmas. So, again, they'll be playing this team in the first game, Oregon Mountain. So that's a good chance for them to watch what happened tonight and make some decisions about what they need to do differently against them the second time. So that's about it for us. This game will be with you tomorrow afternoon. I'd like to thank wife and daughter here, Allison and Jessica Friend, for taking care of the scoreboard for us, Ron Gunner, and, of course, Tiffany Stuber, Max, and everybody else back at the station. Getting the final score from Tasker, 60-51, Oregon Mountain over the Hobbs Eagles. We'll see you tomorrow at 3:15 right back on HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and let's not forget about Cool 95.7 on the radio.
You're clear.
Thanks a lot.
Drive safe, guys.
Thanks.